intelligence and how it helps a person. Most of you know what emotion is, but do you know what emotional intelligence is? We not only have to have an understanding of our emotions, but also of the others around us. Do you agree? How much change can you bring in yourself if you become emotionally intelligent? Do you think emotional intelligence can help in bettering your interaction with people? Let's find out the answers for all these questions in the chapter.
Emotional intelligence is an ability to look at or to monitor not just one's own emotions but also others' emotions. Another aspect of it is to be aware of the different emotions that you go through and what emotions you can perceive in others. Also, it is the ability to label emotions appropriately. For example, fear cannot be labeled as anger, anxiety cannot be labeled as sorrow. And how is it useful to be emotionally intelligent, you ask? There are 3 stages of emotional intelligence. These 3 together help a person. The first one is monitoring. The second one is deciphering. And the third one is thinking. Let's see how these stages work together with an example of 2 classmates, Andy and Jane. Jane and Andy are classmates, as in they know about each other, but they are also not very close friends. Andy and Jane attend a special class arranged by the school on a Sunday. Unfortunately, Jane's friends decide to skip the session due to some reason, leaving Jane alone in her group. Jane has had a fight with her brother in the morning before coming to school. Upon that, her friends did not turn up. She feels lonely, she's upset, and she's in a sad mood. And on the other hand, we have Andy. Andy has had a pretty usual day, thereby the both of them are at different emotional levels at present. Jane goes to Andy to ask for a book. Andy, who is not very emotionally intelligent, looks at Jane but does not monitor that she is very sad. Hands over the book and leaves with her friend to the cafeteria. But what if Andy was emotionally intelligent? Let's see what would have happened then. Jane goes to Andy to ask for a book. Andy looks at Jane and monitors her body language. She observes Jane's straight face, bent shoulders, and numb eyes. This is the monitoring stage. Andy is able to monitor Jane well, as she always monitors her own emotions very closely. Thereby she could relate to the gestures and the body language that Jane carried. Then Andy asks Jane to sit over and says, "Hey, how are you? You've asked for this book. Do you like the subject?" And carries a conversation. With the kind of answers that Jane gives, Andy deciphers or decodes if Jane is angry or sad or depressed or anxious. This is the deciphering stage. She understands that Jane is just a bit sad as her friends did not come that day. Now, Andy makes a judgment on what to do further. This is the last stage, thinking. She decides in her brain to help Jane feel better and cheer her up. This is the emotional decision that she's made. Then she takes the rational decision of tagging along Jane with her friend group for lunch. And Andy and Jane become great friends. So Andy first monitors Jane's emotions. Later, she deciphers so as to what kind of emotion Jane goes through. And finally, she makes a decision to help Jane out. When you monitor both yours and others' emotions while interacting, you can see your shortcomings, where you stand and you come from. And thereby, when you start to gauge where the other person stands, it helps you interact better with that person. When you go ahead and become capable enough to decipher the various emotions that you go through, it becomes easier for you to catch them when you get the similar emotions from the other person. Everything that you see, that you touch, you hear and smell goes through our body as electrical signals. These signals pass from one cell to another until they reach our brain. They first enter the base of the brain, which is near the spinal cord, but they must cross the limbic system where the emotions are produced, and then reach the rational or logical thinking part of the brain. Therefore, you take an emotional decision first and then the rational decision. Thus, taking an emotionally right decision leads to a rationally right decision as well. Thereby, having emotional intelligence actually gives us an upper hand in understanding ourselves better and also in interacting with people that we come across on a daily basis. It can be at home front or at the work front. It helps us with our social engagement, and when we are great at engaging with ourselves and others, the results that come at the end are very efficient. It basically helps in the overall development of you and the ones that you interact with.
Certain takeaways from this chapter. Emotional intelligence is the ability to monitor yours and others' emotions. An emotionally intelligent person can differentiate between a varied number of emotions effectively. There are 3 aspects of emotional intelligence that help a person. 1. The aspect of monitoring emotions. 2. The capability to decipher between emotions. 3. The aspect of emotions strengthening your thinking process. When you think about a person, the information first goes to your brain. In the brain, it first passes through the emotional tunnel and then through the ration tunnel, and you finally make a statement. When your emotional intelligence quotient is high, then the output from the rational tunnel is sensible, and so is your statement at the end.